Hi, I'm Karen from Karen Yoga Life, and I wanted to show you today some variations of child's pose. So child's pose is a posture that's done in pretty much every yoga class. It's a resting pose, a pose of surrender, but it can also be done in an active way where you are actively stretching the arms and stretching the shoulders. So for some people, child's pose feels great and it's very relaxing and it stretches the back, stretches the tops of the feet. But for other people, they find child's pose to be challenging. So I wanted to show you some options to do child's pose to make it a little bit more comfortable or accessible for those people maybe who've had knee surgery or back surgery or any type of issue going on in their body which might make child's pose feel not so great. So I just wanted to offer some options, but again, as always, if something is not feeling good, just don't do it. So the traditional child's pose is done, and I turn sideways so you can see. There are different ways you could start. So you can start with the knees both pointing straight ahead, so they're parallel to each other. You're sitting back on the heels. You can have the arms down by your side, and then you bring your head to the floor. So I'll just show you this first version. So you're just going to bring your head all the way to the floor. Bring your hands down by your side. Palms can be facing up. So this version of child's pose, we're going to stay here for a few breaths. So let's inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So if you do this version, you'll feel that your front body is contracted, compressed. So you're breathing more into your back body. Your back expands when you breathe. So you're stretching out the muscles in your back. Another version is you can stretch the arms forward. So you bring the arms in front of you and let the elbows relax on the floor. So for some people this is more comfortable. This is another passive version of child's pose. We're just relaxing everything down into the floor. So 3 breaths here. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So for some people, their head does not come to the floor, so we can do a couple things here. You can stack the hands one on top of the other and just rest the head on your hands. This is one option. If this doesn't work, you can also use a blanket or a block and just create a little cushion, some padding for your head, and just allow your head to come and rest on your blanket or a block. That's another version. Still, a third option, if this is not feeling comfortable on the knees, you can take your blanket and put it between your thighs and your calves right up under the knees. Sit back on it and then lower yourself down, coming into any variation with the arms. At your side, out in front of you, bringing the hands, and just rest here for a few breaths. This is another version. And then lastly, in a restorative yoga class, you might have multiple blankets or bolsters piled up in front of you, so resting underneath your abdomen, where you are going to lie yourself completely down onto the blanket. So usually this is done with the legs open, so we're going to open the knees and lay down our blankets in front of us and just come down to lying on the blanket. So really need something a little higher to lie down on. like so. So in a restorative class, you really want to play around with what feels good for you. So as you see, I have my legs open. You can also do this version with any of the arm variations I did earlier. So you can have the knees open. This opens the hips a little bit, gives a little bit of a stretch to the hips. So you can bring the hands down, stretch them out, or you can have your arms down by your side. So lastly, to make this pose a little more active, you can bring the hands out in front of you, reach the fingertips away from you so the elbows lift off the floor, and really claw your fingertips away. So you're stretching the shoulders, stretching the arms, so the child's pose becomes a little bit more active for the arms, the shoulders. And then you can relax the elbows down into the floor. You can also bring the hands to touch so the palms come together. A little bit more active stretch for the shoulders. So just staying here for a few breaths. Maybe you feel a nice stretch in the shoulders. So let's stay here for 3 breaths. For 2 more. For 1 more. Another option is to take the hands right behind the head, the neck. You can walk the elbows out. Again, a little bit more of a stretch for the arms, for the shoulders, and staying here for 3 breaths. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and releasing the hands back down, walking the hands back in, lifting yourself up, and coming back to a seated position. So there you have quite a few different options for child's pose. I hope you will find one that works for you, because child's pose can be a really nice restorative, relaxing pose. If you can use it as a break in any class where you need to just take a break for a minute and go rest in child's pose. So let me know which version works for you, or maybe they all work for you. That's great. So appreciate you leaving the comments below. Thanks.